Welcome into another video. It is week 14, the week before the fantasy playoffs start, and we have a fun one for you guys today. Nothing too in-depth. We're just going to be going to the Keep Trade Cut website, the website that everybody says they don't use, but we all know that you at least go to it a little bit for clarification, and we're just going to be playing Keep Trade Cut, completely randomized. It's going to be a lot of fun. Joined here, as always, with my boy Lucas Hoyk and Ryan Cash Sharma. But before we get into it, guys, how are your dynasty teams looking out? Are you in the playoffs or not? Lucas, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I got two top three seeds. One of those is getting a first round bye. The other one just not going to get that first place in the division, but really strong chances in both there, I like to think. And then other league that we were pushing hard for, we just didn't get there this year. Had a few key injuries, a couple bad decisions along the way, but a fun league nonetheless. You know, we do it for the fun here.
And then, brother.
Yeah, seriously. But I'm missing the playoffs in the league that I want to be missing the playoffs in. Got a additional first overall pick coming my way, so feeling good about how that one shook out. So it feels like I'm 3 out of 4 ended the way I wanted them to.
Love it. Ryan?
Yeah, out of my 3 leagues, I'm looking really good in one. I'm actually looking to lock up the 1 seed in that league. The other 2, not so good. Outside chance of one of the leagues, and the one that all 3 of us share, I'm actually tanking for that number 1 pick, aiming for maybe a Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love. But currently I'm in that number 2 spot because the guy to my left owns the number 1, and we'll let him explain how that happened.
Which I don't even own the number 1 pick in that draft. Yeah, unfortunately I don't. I'm going to be the worst team in that league, which I had full expectations of being the worst team in the league. But back in, 2023, Lucas, when I traded all of my future 2026 picks for 2 second-round picks to go get Devon Achane and Kendra Miller. I think I had about like 6 beers in me, and I was like, and I just come off a championship, and I needed some more running backs. I was like, fuck it, I'm going all in, like take them all. And now I'm the worst team in the league with the number 1 pick that I don't even own, probably. But yeah, same here. Got locked up 1 seed in one of my leagues. That's the one I expected to be pretty damn good in. Made the playoffs in another league that I had no aspirations of making the playoffs in, so that kind of sucks. Other ones missed the playoffs. One of them I had full expectations of making. Others, didn't really think I was going to be there. So I'd say probably I'm like 50-50 on the season. The ones that I made some playoffs that I didn't want to, missed some that I didn't want to. Let's go ahead and get into the Keep Trade Cut. This is gonna be a lot of fun, and we've got a good one to kick us off here, boys. It's not great, but I think that we can kind of dive into the struggling youth and the predominant old here, and we'll go ahead and kick it off now. Davante Adams, George Kittle, Cam Ward. Lucas, what's screaming at you off the screen?
Yeah, I think Devontae and Kittle, I mean, really similar players in that they're high production, but the age is obviously what scares you. For some reason, it feels like Kittle's got a few more years left in him than Devontae Adams does. And then on the complete flip side of the coin, you have a young first overall pick quarterback. So Cam Ward, especially in a super flex, I'm going to keep. I think we've seen enough out of him. I've seen enough out of him to feel confident in the player. This is not something where it's like a Anthony Richardson, where it's just an asset that's on fire. But get him a good coach and, a few changes in free agency here in the draft. And I think that, his value is going to skyrocket while the other 2 are unfortunately trending in the opposite direction. Honestly, I don't know if I have any. Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of want to play this. Like, let's see who we're going to keep first. Let's go like that route. I'm going to stick with Lucas on this one, and I'm keeping Cam Ward. I have a feeling Ryan might be leaning the same just off of conversations that we had. I know that we did our kind of, rookie quarterback redraft, just me and Ryan a few weeks ago, and we still had Cam Ward over Shuck as our QB2. Are you down to keep Ward here, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm a big Cam Ward guy. Honestly, like since that happened, even I might be willing to put him as my QB1 at least from that redraft. The dart injury, and then what I've watched from Cam Ward and just his film and the plays pop off the screen. I mean, he had that game against the Seahawks. I'm not sure if you guys watched. Some of those throws he made in the fourth quarter were, really, really promising for what he could be in the future. So I think he still has star potential if Tennessee can get things right.
Okay, I like it. So we're all on board here to keep Cam Ward.
Yes,
I like it.
I like it a lot too. I'm pushing for Brian Daboll in Tennessee, by the way. Maybe a little early, but in some way, shape, or form. Maybe a little Brian Flores head coach. Brian Daboll. Oh, that could. I mean, he's a QB whisperer. I don't know if they're going to win a Super Bowl because of that, but here we go. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky. To sit here and say that with Devontae Adams, the season he's having, can we cut him or, I mean, trade him? What are we doing here? I mean, I want to start Ryan off with this one. Which side are you leaning here, Ryan?
I don't know. I know that Lucas said he felt that Kittle might outlast Adams. I could see that. Like, I could see a weird scenario in which, like, the Rams win the Super Bowl and they all just, like, run, like, McVay leaves and maybe Stafford and Adams also ride off into the sunset. Who knows? But I feel like Adams has been such a productive player as, you know, a top-end receiver with the MVP of the league potentially in Matthew Stafford. I mean, that connection is so juicy to me that if it's around for a couple more years, I would definitely be willing to, I guess, trade him in this scenario instead of cutting him.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, like Kittle when he's on the field, man, he's balling, but I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I kind of want to lean trading Devontae Adams and cutting Kittle as well. That's where I want to go. And you guys know me, I love my wide receivers, so I kind of like that. I don't know where you're leaning here, Lucas.
I'm talking myself into trading Devontae Adams here. I think maybe Kittle is just closer towards the top of his position, so it makes me feel like there's some positional value at tight end. But Devontae just puts up the numbers. You know, if I'm looking to plug one of those guys into my lineup, Devontae Adams is in the end zone once or twice every game, it feels like. And he's got the connection that he had with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. There's a couple down years there when he didn't have elite quarterback play, but I think you just got to ride the hot hand and roll with Devontae here.
I agree with you. Let's lock that in. We are going to keep Cam Ward, trade Devontae Adams, and cut George Kittle. Now, this could get interesting. We could have some, okay, this isn't too bad. We can maybe go a little quicker with this one because I don't know if we've got a guy who has lasted on, you know, everybody's top 5 dynasty tight end charts and Kyle Pitts. And then Alec Pierce, kind of, you know, no name there for a little bit in Indianapolis. And then you got a young tight end, only 21 and a half years old in New York with Mason Taylor. Lucas, why don't you kick us off again here? Who are you?
Yeah, give me Alec Pierce here. Alec Pierce has always been kind of a weird guy. I think I gave him to Ryan for real cheap. You know, like we were together in a while back. But I think he's becoming more of a pro. He's got a good quarterback now and a good offense, and he just does something unique. And I don't think right now I've seen that Mason Taylor or Kyle Pitts do anything unique in their game and how that translates to scoring. So give me Alec Pierce here. He's a dog.
Didn't you give him Kyle Pitts as well?
You gave me Alec Pierce for a guy who's doing TikTok dances right now. Have you seen Donovan Peoples-Jones's TikTok account? He completely fell out of the league. He's literally doing like hip hop choreography, like music video reenactments on TikTok. I couldn't believe it when he stumbled across my For You page. Sad fall off. But yeah, wow. I mean,
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I kind of like Alec Pierce too, but I always feel like he's more of like a real life good player, like a NFL good instead of like a fantasy good, just because he's more of a deep threat. A guy that'll win the 50-50 ball. I'm going Mason Taylor. I talked about him before in our redraft for the rookie class. I'm very high on Mason Taylor as a player. I think he's popped even this year with awful quarterback play. He's incredibly young, as you can see, 21.6 years old. He was drafted in the second round, and the Jets have a chance to bring in a top-end quarterback this year. So give me Mason Taylor.
Okay, so we might have a little bit of an issue here because I see. Look, I'm not a big Alec Pierce guy. I don't know what it is. I just feel like, you know, obviously this year he's kind of having a little revival season. But what I got to think about, like, what's his contract situation like in Indianapolis? They've got mouths to feed over there. They've got mouths to feed, and maybe it's just because I'm such a Josh Downs guy, and I know he hasn't been having the productive season like I thought he was going to, but. He's got the youth, the upside, I think. I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to go Mason Taylor. I'm just so worried about what the Jets are going to do. I kind of and then I'm like, damn, Kyle Pitts.
Don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Oh, sorry, Lucas. I'm down to trade out.
Wow.
Oh, are we trading Kyle Pitts just because we feel like we can get the juice off the Kyle Pitts truthers?
There's always someone.
No, I feel like we got to trade Pierce if we're going with the keep. You know, if we're going with the keep on Mason Taylor, which I was, I guess, the deciding factor on that. I feel like the juice right now is on Alec Pierce.
I'm there for it.
I'm
I think
really
he's
there.
going to get paid a lot more in his next contract than people anticipate. I think he's one of those guys where, like Ryan said, he's just good at what he does. So I can see him becoming more of a focal point of his future offense.
Okay. I wonder if it's going to be Indianapolis who pays him, because they might have to pay a quarterback this offseason. Let's go ahead and submit this bad boy right there. All right, consensus value. I like how they do this little consensus value thing. Okay, now this is very interesting here. You got two running backs who are kind of, playing at the top end of their positions this year. And I think both are currently ranked in the top 10 in fantasy points for running backs. But then you got that 2028 mid-first round pick. Just staring at you. And I'll go ahead and lead this one off, because you know me and where I stand on running backs. And I know that you guys know that I love me some Chase Brown. But I'm taking that first round pick.
I like it. As a Chase Brown owner, I can tell you that I was chasing a future first or a current second for him this year. So the fact that there is a 2028 mid first, now that is a pretty long ways away, but I do like the fact that it's certainly the mid first, it's not a late first. I don't believe in Chase Brown long term. I would rather keep that first, and also Javonte Williams. To me, the injury history, the random revival mid-career, I don't really believe in it too much to take it over first.
Yeah.
Well, there's clearly a majority rules situation going on here, but
let me hear your stance.
I think if I'm a above average team, if I'm in the 60% of most leagues that make the playoffs, and I can trade a 2028 first for Javonte Williams, I'm doing that. And I think between the two running backs here, it's interesting because they're both obviously very close in age. Ryan mentioned the injury history, more of a factor with Javonte. I think he's just better than Chase Brown, though. Like, I think Chase Brown's always just kind of been a guy who catches passes and is in the Bengals offense. Javonte is in just as good of an offense in Dallas. And I think he's a better running back overall. So, I can see the argument for the first, no doubt, but give me Javonte between the two of them. I'm interested to hear if you guys agree, though.
Is that a long-term thing, though, Javonte in Dallas? Because I've seen some mock drafts that say Jeremiah Love's going there. I don't know what kind of deal he signed, but it doesn't seem like Jerry's going to be able to pay George Pickens and Javonte Williams. If he's coming up soon, I'd have to look at his contract. But, yeah, I'm not convinced that that's if he's in Dallas long-term, then definitely give me Javonte. But I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, as of right now, he's, I'm pretty sure it was only a 1-year deal for Javonte Williams, and there's some names that are going to need to be extended this offseason. The injury history, the mileage of Javonte. Obviously, it's pick and choose. If you're a contender, you're not going to probably trade away either of these guys just because of the value they bring to your lineup. But I feel like if we're just looking at it from an outside perspective, I just think that first at the end of the day, just with the mileage of Javonte that he has as well, like he was very young coming into Denver, and that's why, his value was so high back in the day. But, now he's going to be he's going to be 26 when the season starts next year with a couple of major injuries and contract looming. I think that's why I want to lean the first. Sorry, Lucas, again.
It's all right. I can see it.
You're a little bit more understanding on this one. Now, the trade and the cut. Here we go. And I would be down for trading Javonte and then cutting Chase Brown. It's an interesting one, but I'm kind of down to be swayed either way here.
I would trade Javonte. I'd just say the better player. Like, Javonte Williams is better than Chase Brown, like Lucas said.
We cool with that? Locking that one in?
I like it.
All right. Locked and loaded. Here we go. Now, this is a juicy one. I kind of like this one a lot here. You got DK Metcalf and a 2026 early second-round pick. And then you got Troy Franklin, who's kind of on the rise in this Denver offense. I want to let Ryan kick this one off. God damn, DK's 28. Fuck. Holy shit! I'm gonna let you start this one off, Ryan.
And once again, that draft pick is, it's calling my name there. That 20, maybe it's because I'm in tank mode in some of my leagues. So I'm just looking at the draft picks. They look extra juicy right now, but I don't think Troy Franklin's worth an early second. I mean, he was 2 drafts ago, and maybe he was going in the 3rd or 4th of rookie drafts. Really slipped in the real draft. I don't feel like he's done that much to. I mean, he has definitely showed up a little bit more this year, but I feel like Sean Payton, he just rotates those receivers. So, and then DK is obviously getting up there in age. I don't think I would want DK Metcalf for a 2nd round pick. So, I would lean the draft pick again.
Yeah, I feel like the value is pretty even across the board here. I mean, me and Lucas just traded away DK Metcalf in one of our other leagues this year for a 2026 second, which, that's kind of where we lie. And I feel like if you're it comes down to that 2nd round pick and Troy Franklin of if you're a truther or not. Lucas, where are you leaning?
I might fall under that Troy Franklin truther category. I might. I'm not gonna lie. I sent an offer for a 2nd, maybe a 2nd plus another pick for Troy Franklin earlier this year that got rejected. I think he was just this past draft, so still got a couple years going in Denver. I think the one thing that scares me is what Ryan said there. Sean Payton offenses historically have never had that guy as a main wide receiver outside of Michael Thomas. And they don't have a Michael Thomas on the Broncos right now. So Troy Franklin, he gets a lot of red zone targets, like a crazy high proportion compared to just his overall targets are in the red zone. And he's got that trust that he's starting to show more with Bo Nix. So I actually would, and I think small thing here too, this takes into account you're in a 12-team league, so an early second is going to be at least pick 13. Not a huge difference. We play in all 10-man leagues. I think I'm going to go with Troy Franklin here. Agree, DK is the least valuable of the 3 in my eyes, but Troy Franklin or an early second. Give me the player here. I like the position he's in.
I'm gonna go with you, Lucas. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna ride with you on this one. As soon as it popped up, immediately in my head, I was like, all right, that early 2nd round pick. But I kind of went back, sat back a little bit. I was like, I was a Troy Franklin truther out of Oregon. He played with Bo Nix, people. Yeah. He played with Bo Nix over his last 4 games. I talked about it in last week's episode when I was talking about the evidential fall off of Cortland Sutton. Troy Franklin's been averaging 16 points per game over his last 5 games, I think it was. I'm a Troy Franklin guy. He's got the most targets on that team. I'm gonna go with you on this one, and I'm gonna ride the Troy Franklin train. Fuck it, we ball. Personally, I don't know if it's something I would guarantee do. Would have to be depending on the situation and my picks, but I'm rocking with Troy Franklin on this one. We'll trade that 2nd round pick and we'll cut DK Metcalf. We all in on that? Well, I guess other than Ryan.
Yeah.
We're gonna, hey, it's. We got no choice here. What do we got here? Okay, we're gonna just wrap that one up. I gotta be honest with them a little bit though. Probably keep Jalen Polk, trade Atwell, cut Brock Wright. All right, what do we got next for us, KTC?
There we go.
Okay, here we go. RJ Harvey, Oronde Gadsden, and Jared Goff. Interesting one in there. Lucas, where are you sitting?
I am looking up Oronde Gadsden's stat line from this week because I honestly think that's going to dictate, where I have him. 3.7 points. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm keeping Jared Goff here. He's my keep. Quarterback value, of course, in Superflex is going to be always up there. I think he's such a pro's pro right now. I don't ever think that he's going to reach the Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers type of just veteran presence and real elite skill set. I think he's about where he's going to be for the rest of his career, performance wise. But that's a pretty productive quarterback. He's in a great offense. He's high volume passing, and even when the ball's going to his running backs, oftentimes that's in the passing game too. So I think he's just in such a solid position, quarterback value, and he's 31, obviously a little bit older, but for a quarterback, you can still have 5, 6, 7 more years with that.
Yeah, I agree. I want to keep Goff here, Ryan.
Yeah, Goss an easy one. Like you said, he's 31, but honestly, he probably is going to be in the NFL longer than RJ Harvey. Probably not Gadsden, but RJ Harvey. I didn't know that RJ Harvey is already 25 years old, running back. Obviously, Denver, they lost Dobbins, so I assume they're going to bring somebody else in going into next year. So I know I don't really ever see Harvey as a 3-down guy.
Yeah, I want to trade Gadsden. I mean, you guys know I'm a big Gadsden guy. Like, are we cool with that? Like, we already talked about like Greg Roman's there. They just throw the ball to tight ends. I think that Gadsden showed so much juice this year in this offense, and that's an offense with Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Keenan Allen, which I would assume, Keenan Allen may be gone after this season. Quentin Johnston probably won't get a second deal done. I know Trey Harris is still there, but Gadsden, 5th-round pick, he's shown some serious juice, and I want to roll with Gadsden and then cut Harvey. Oh, that poor bastard. Here we go. George Kittle back up here again. I guess this is a good little mix. We got a young, mostly failure quarterback in here. You got Ken Walker and you got George Kittle. Ryan, we'll kick it off with you. Are you keeping Bryce Young, who just defeated the Los Angeles Rams yesterday?
No. I can't be that recency bias. I think I've never been a Bryce Young guy. I don't really believe in him as a future starting quarterback in this league. I think he could be a good backup for a while, maybe, but he doesn't really have the arm talent, the size, really anything that jumps out the page to me as somebody that can stick in this league for a while. So I would just keep Kenneth Walker because I know he's an elite RB talent, still young, probably going to get to a new team this offseason as he's a free agent. So that would be the most appealing to me.
I get I'm with you on the Bryce Young stuff. It's a real tough decision between Kittle and Kenneth Walker for me. And it's just so tough with like the volume that Kenneth Walker's been getting in Seattle. Is it because of any like underlying injury? Is it because he's just not that guy, even though everything that we see tells us that he is? And then Kittle, you know exactly what you're getting, but you don't know for how long you'll have that. So honestly, like I'm a Kittle owner, someone who's been trying to make moves for Kenneth Walker. I don't know that I would send an offer right now to get Kenneth Walker on my team in exchange for George Kittle. I think Kittle's my keep here.
Okay.
We're gonna lock in Kittle. I'm buying Kittle. Okay. You had Bryce Young. You trading him for Ken Walker? I gotta think about this for a little bit. Are we trading Ken Walker here? Are you going to try and get that QB value? With the recency bias as well, you think that we could get more value for Bryce Young than you could for Ken Walker?
I think God, it's so close. They know what they're doing with these three.
They're geniuses. They're geniuses.
I mean, I'm not trading. I'm personally not trading anything for Bryce Young. I'm not trading Ken Walker. I'm not trading Paul Walker.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna get behind it just for that. I'm gonna get behind you because I do agree with you. I'm not a Bryce guy at all. You gotta at least play your cards. Oh my goodness. You want the 2026 late one or the 2028 early? Or Jake talk. We're cutting Jake talk.
Give me that late 4th.
Give me the late. Yeah, keep that way. We'll trade that. All right, let's get the juicy one in here. I don't know. Don't care. We're gonna move on. Okay, you guys want to talk about this one?
I mean, is Joe Mixon still alive?
Yeah, you got a good point. I'll probably keep LeQuinn out. He's got some juice. Does he have the sauce? We'll find out one day. Oh God, these are. All right. Well, yeah, we'll roll with this one for a little bit. I want to cut Leggett. I hate Leggett so much.
That's what I want to do too.
I would cut Gainwell. Just because he's a journeyman backup running back. I mean, there's like no value there to me.
But David Njoku is the number 2 tight end now in Cleveland. They're all ass.
True.
Cut.
Yeah, they've got to give us. Should we just say I don't know all of these players?
I wish I didn't.
Well, come on. Keep KTC. Here we go, my boy. By do it, baby.
Oh,
all
man.
right, we got Kyler Murray, Michael Penix Jr., Baishul 2. And this is crazy to me that all three of these guys are equal value in my eyes. It's kind of nuts. And I have an easy, I think this one's an easy one in my head on the key. I don't know if you guys are leaning the same way.
If this is the territory that Kyler's in, this is the cheapest you'll ever see Kyler Murray. This is a no-brainer smash for me.
Ryan, you on board with that?
Yeah, I'm a Penix guy, but Kyler Murray's shown it. He's still young. Yeah, he's been an MVP candidate in this league, and he's going to get to a new place. You never know what that could unlock in his game. So, yeah, give me Kyler Murray.
Or an offensive mind in Arizona that maybe wants to keep him around and not derail his career. I think it's probably fresh start, but you never know. Now, this one's interesting to me because I'm not a huge Penix fan, and I am a big Baishul Tootin fan. He was my number 8 running back coming out of this loaded 2026 class, and he showed some juice in Jacksonville this year. Question is, though, are you guys on board with that, or would you rather take the value of the quarterback? And I can get outvoted here. That's totally fine. I probably still leaning to trading away Michael Penix Jr. just because he's a young quarterback in this league, going to be going into year 3, maybe a new situation. But I don't know. I feel like the writing might be on the wall with this situation.
I admittedly haven't watched enough Jacksonville football, but just looking at the numbers, like Tootin hasn't really done anything other than maybe exceed his draft status value. So props to him, but yeah, give me the first round pick quarterback from a year ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
We'll roll with that one. Oh, let's get into it. I've
actually seen a Charbonnet for Downs straight up trade before, so this is an interesting one.
Well, I know who won that one, but so for me, I'll go out there and say I'm a big Downs guy, big Downs guy. But Higgins also has shown, some consistency, and he's been a red zone target for this Houston offense. I would kind of be down to get behind Higgins. I was very high on Higgins. I'm pretty sure he was my wide receiver 7 coming out of this draft class. So I could get behind Higgins as well here. I'll let you guys kind of pick and choose. Maybe you guys are some Sharp guys. We still got Sharp in this mix. I don't know if you are or not, but let's hear it. Who wants to start? Yeah. Ryan, we'll go with you.
I feel like the Sharp hype's kind of died down a bit. Like maybe last year or this offseason, I would have said Sharp, or even earlier in the season, but I don't know. I feel like he hasn't really shown you anything with his opportunities. He's really not that exciting of a player the more I look at him. I was high on him as a prospect, but I just don't think he's got the juice necessarily to be a starting running back for a long time. So I think Downs is – I have Downs in a league, but I don't think he's ever really popped either. His best production came with Joe Flacco, who was just a guy that would throw the ball 50 times. And obviously Josh Downs, a predominant slot player, really benefited from that. But I think with like Anthony Richardson or with Daniel Jones, and now Tyler Warren's a player too. So it's like Downs just keeps getting pushed further and further down the pecking order. So I'm leaning Jaden Higgins as well. I like what he's shown these past few weeks as their number 2 target.
Yeah, Jaden Higgins. I think Zach Charbonnet is the ultimate floor. Like, you know what you're getting here. Jaden Higgins has more of a ceiling in my eyes than Josh Downs has. You've seen a little bit of what you're going to get from Downs. You've seen a little bit of what you're going to get from Higgins, and I think you're just maybe a little bit more excited on the latter. It's tough because they both kind of have a ceiling with Nico Collins right now in Houston, and then you got Pittman and just kind of the style of that offense in Indy. But Higgins, I can see being that high target, high scoring option down the line. So I like the conversation. I like where we all ended up here.
Yeah, I can get behind it. I can. I think my thing about Downs is you look at his 2024 season. He only had 3 games under 10 points. And to me, my whole thing going into 2025 was I think this guy's going to be like Khalil Shakir on crack. And there was a point in this season where he was feasting from the slot. I'm pretty sure he was the number 2 wide receiver in the NFL in yards and receptions from the slot at one point. It hasn't panned out consistently enough. And you've got the more, recent draft pick, second round pick in Houston with, a chance for him to be, a wide receiver 1 for some weeks with Collins' injury history, but at the same time, a consistent wide receiver 2. So I'm down for this. I want to cut Charbonnet. Are we okay with that bum being cut, or do you guys want to keep him over or trade him over Downs? Yeah, cool with that.
Cool.
Get rid of him.
Cool. All right, let's get like maybe Jesus. Let's maybe get like 2 more good ones in here, and then we'll wrap it up. Oh my goodness, they're really throwing the ringer at us today. I don't even. I'm probably cutting his ass.
I like your integrity here. You're making sure that the site is benefiting from this exercise.
Let's roll with this one. I feel like this, in my head, is easy, but you got to talk about the star power here.
You think this is easy? What's the easy one?
Why don't you start here, Will?
We're keeping Justin Herbert, right?
I mean, the way people have been talking about Jackson Dart lately, he's jumping into a lot of people's top 10s. I know. Dynasty quarterback wise, obviously 5 years younger. Maybe he's not hamstrung by Greg Roman or the Chargers, just anemic offense. So I don't know. I mean, Jackson Dart's got a little juice behind him, but I would lean Herbert as well.
Yeah, I don't know that it was as easy as maybe you initially thought here, Will, but I agree. Justin Herbert, I've always been a big fan, and he's just like exactly what I look for in a modern day quarterback. And Jackson Dart, if we saw another year of this, of the fantasy production that we've seen when he's healthy, then I think my answer will probably change. But we know Justin Herbert's an elite quarterback in this league.
Oh, yeah, up until like the last, I think, like 3 weeks, like Herbert was like QB4. Like he was putting up numbers, and that's without his 2 starting offensive tackles. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in my eyes. I know that it's always been discourse for people if Herbert's a top 5 guy. You know, the if man is a lot of people like to call him, but I just think from a talent perspective, like that's my guy there. And I like what I've seen from Dart. And then that's why I thought it was an easy in my head. I thought it was an easy keep on Herbert, an easy trade on.
You would say Matt Stafford's a top 3 quarterback in the league, but you're not keeping him over Jackson Dart.
Well, of course not, but Matt Stafford's also 39. Justin Herbert's 27. Matt Stafford's been my guy for a while. I've been saying this guy's top 3. That's a Hall of Famer in my eyes, but I don't know. That's just I get it though. I understand maybe the reluctancy here, but in my head, I'm immediately leaning Herbert on this one, and then obviously trading Dart and cutting A-Chain. Correct?
That's what
but it's close, you know. Like A-Chain's putting up 20 points a game. Jackson Dart, 20 couple points per game. You know, I think on a specific team, you can make the argument for Devon A-Chain. They're closer than I think. I think that's a good toss-up between the two, but give me Dart.
Okay. So, yeah, we just going through the semantics of it all and just beating around the bush, I guess, and is what we're doing
my
there.
Bad. I thought this was a talk
show. Duh. I mean, what? Go ahead. I mean, what are we gonna do, huh? We're not gonna keep our fucking guy. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And I once again, I think this is. I guess
early first is interesting.
Yeah, though. What are we talking about?
I think definitely give me the first over Warren.
Yeah, that's the play.
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith. Probably a couple of really solid quarterbacks coming out of that class. Ryan Williams will be coming out of that class. That's got to be the one.
Julian saying, there's some very good prospects coming.
We'll get one more.
I do think that there's a pretty sizable gap here. Like if I had Caleb Williams and someone sent me what I thought to be an early 2027 first, I'm laughing at that. You need a little bit more than just one first round pick here.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one right there. But I know that KTC doesn't value their quarterbacks like most people in their leagues do. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's get one more good one in here with some discourse. This isn't too bad. This could be maybe a good finisher. If you guys want to go one more with some star power, that's fine. But this is a good little one here that I kind of want to roll with.
This would be the hardest one for me personally because I love all 3 of these guys.
Yeah, you do.
It's like, I don't know. Can I keep all of them?
I'm looking to see what Pearsall's done because there was a point in this year, 3.4 points this past week. Yeah, I'm out on Ricky Pearsall. Man, he's had all the opportunities. This is a great year for him to show that he can be a wide receiver 1, and obviously some injuries there. He had a hot start yards-wise, but was never, jumping off the page necessarily fantasy points wise. So he might be my third option here.
I don't know. I mean, with the Brandon Ayuk news coming out, just how, in cap hell the 49ers are not really able to add anything. I think Ricky Pearsall being that young first round pick on that 5-year deal, he's gonna have a lot of chances. Like, it's not just over for him because he didn't show it this year. I think he's gonna have next year, years even after that, especially if Kittle's injuries keep up, McCaffrey's injuries. Like, I don't know. I feel like Pearsall's got a chance to be their number one option, maybe at one point. And number one in a Shanahan offense, that could be very lucrative. So I think he's got the most upside here. So I'd probably keep Pearsall personally.
Really? Oh, I don't know about that. And I was a Ricky guy kind of early. Keep kicking my mic. I was a Ricky guy kind of early on in the season, but I was starting to buy into that. You just hear Shanahan call him his next slot boy, and you kind of just bought into that juice a little bit, but we haven't really seen that too much. Oh, well, I got to think next year's probably a down year for McCaffrey, just because that's how his career arc has gone. This is a tough one for me, honestly, because I don't think I like obviously the thought of Pearsall and Worthy, but it just hasn't panned out in the first 2 years. And then, you got Harold Fannin, who has been, putting up some consistent solid points this season in the Cleveland offense, and pushed out David Njoku, which is kind of crazy because Njoku has been a very productive weapon. It's just obviously the fear of what's the trajectory of that franchise. But I feel like tight ends are guys who just stay consistently eating. So I don't know. I kind of want to keep Fannin.
Fannin's my keep here. He's got 12 more points than Oronde Gadsden, the second coming of Jesus Christ, does this year. He scores. He's a rookie producer, 21 years old. Give me Fannin.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's their number one option already. I'm not mad at that at all.
I know you're a Pearsall guy, Ryan, but I think you're maybe getting more value out of Xavier Worthy. There are fucking Worthy stands out there, dude.
I'm a big Worthy guy too.
Real bad though.
He's not really shown much, and he's not ever gonna eclipse Rashee Rice in that pecking order. Whereas I think Ricky Pearsall has like a more clear opportunity to the top of their target order, I suppose.
Something to think about here, though. We got 22-year-old versus 25-year-old.
One of them's been shot, and it ain't Xavier Worthy. He is the bullet.
He's made of steel, maybe, Ricky Pearsall. He regenerates faster.
Yeah, all right. I like it.
We'll trade Pearsall. Should we? Nope.
One more juicy one?
Yeah, let's get one tight ends.
We'll get one more. Oh, we gotta stay good. Oh my God, that's the worst one yet.
Treylon.
Dude, did you just cut Treylon Burks?
I did just cut Treylon Burks. Oh my God, these are Kavontae Turpin's about to be 30. That's crazy. I had no idea he was damn near 30 years old.
Trey Palmer still in the league?
All right, let's finish up with this one. It's not too juicy, but it's good enough in my eyes for a wrapping up point. And this is interesting. You got two very young, or I guess three very young wide receivers. Butte came out last year, though. This is year 2 for him. You got two rookies in Horton and in Aomanor who have, showed some potential in year 1 despite being some later round picks. Lucas, we'll let you finish it up.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kayshon Boutte here. I think he's the type of guy who's going to have a role on different offenses for the remainder of his career as that deep ball threat. None of these guys are going to be someone you feel super confident putting in as your wide receiver too, but in a flex, I think I'd be more confident having Kayshon here compared to the others.
Okay.
I'm in full agreement on that one, actually. Yeah, I think Kayshon Boutte is the most talented of the three by far.
Okay.
I know we mentioned in previous videos he was a 5-star prospect, once first-round talent. I think the other two guys are just kind of flashed as rookies because of opportunity more than like their actual talent. I think Tennessee hasn't really had a clear receiver. Seattle had a lack of weapons as well when Cooper Kupp was out. So those guys just kind of flashed some big plays, but I don't think they're necessarily solidified, players in their offense going forward.
All right. outvoted. I think I probably would have leaned Horton. I'm a big Horton guy, but I can understand the booty hype as well. I think this is a very close one. Where do you guys want to go here on the trade and cut?
I would actually go Io Manor. I think he has a better, easier path to like a top two wide receiver on an offense next year, whereas Horton's, he's behind Cup right now. We'll see how that ends up shaking out. So, and then Rashid Shaheed as well. So I think Io Manor is my choice here, but it's a good question.
Yeah, just because of like the low sample, I'd probably stick to my prospect rankings more than anything. And I honestly didn't even think of Torrey Horton as a prospect, whereas Iomanor, I was solidly high on him, like a top 10 receiver talent.
Okay, I can get behind it. Totally understandable. We're all good. And yeah, that's a good stopping point. We're not going to talk about those bums. That was fun, boys. Next week, we got the playoffs. And each week of the playoffs, we're going to talk about some really good postseason matchups and then some really bad ones for some players that you might have in your lineup and some tight calls that you might want to avoid. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another video. Thanks to Lucas and Ryan for hopping on as always. Dynasty content does not stop. I know it's only a few more weeks of playoffs, but guys, this offseason is going to be nuts. It's going to be our first year doing draft content, talking about young, promising rookies. We're going to be doing drafts and shit. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another video. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.